Hello, I'm Sensei Alex Kakuyo, North American contributor for Buddhist Global. Thanks for joining me for this episode of The Ordinary Buddhist. The title of today's Dharma talk is Small Bits of Compassion. Before we get into that, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you'll be notified when I post talks in the future. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, that'd be great too. We've reached a point in the year which is a bit bittersweet for me. It's fun and exciting because we're starting to harvest some of the vegetables that we planted earlier in the summer. Radishes, beans, lots of leafy greens like collards and kale. So that's exciting. But it's also a bit sad because the fact that we're harvesting vegetables instead of planting them now means that soon the garden will be over. It'll be time to tidy up the beds, close them off until the following year. Eventually, nothing will be growing in the garden. That said, as I sat there and reflected on how the garden started this year and how it's going to end, I thought about the seeds that I planted. And it occurred to me that you can't simply plant one seed in order to grow a garden. It takes tens, hundreds, sometimes thousands of seeds, depending on the size of one's garden, to grow said garden. And then after you plant the seeds, it's not just one plant that makes a garden. It's not just one tomato plant or one bean plant. It's tens, hundreds, sometimes thousands of plants, corn, beans, squash, tomatoes, all coming together that make up a garden. And that garden eventually goes on to feed a family, or your friends, or your loved ones. But you can't get to that garden until you plant that one seed. If you don't plant a seed, you can't plant hundreds. If you don't plant hundreds, you don't have a garden. This is true of gardening, but it's also true of life in general. As Buddhists, we take a vow to save all sentient beings from suffering, and it can be difficult to figure out how to do that. There's so much struggle and heartbreak in the world, and it can be overwhelming. We might feel like we can't do it all, and we can't. However, we can plant one seed, and then one seed leads to 2, leads to 10, leads to 100, until eventually our many seeds of compassion grow into a garden of happiness and joy, not just for us, but also for those around us as well. But we don't get that garden of happiness unless we plant that first seed of compassion. So I'd like to encourage you today, if you see something on the news or in your personal life that just seems overwhelming, that causes you to lose hope in the human condition, remember that you can start turning things around by simply planting one seed of love, of compassion, of kindness in daily life. Amitabha.